How's the performance going?
It's going. I mean, we had our last rehearsal last night. Um, it's we always find a way to pull it together at the last second. I mean, we yeah. I mean, the Friday crowd is a little weak, but we're still going. We're going to treat it as a soft opening.
Okay.
We're in the 30s or 40s Saturday, Sunday, and I think next week we're in the mid 30s for attendance wise.
Okay.
But when your theater sits maybe 55 to 60 people, that's a packed house.
All
So,
right.
I mean, they call it the Little Victory Theater for a reason. It's not the biggest stage, but it's you can have a nice intimate show with people. And when we do this show, we're going to be dodging lightning bolts from the sky.
Why, it's supposed to be stormy? Or you're just expecting to be struck down?
Oh, we expect to be struck down. I mean, the play is called The Divine Sister, and it's about a Catholic hit woman who has been sent by the Mother House in Berlin to a convent in Pittsburgh. The place is falling down, and they want to dismantle it and build a new one. But the Catholic hit woman is like, no, because the body of Joyce Christ, which is Jesus' sister, who did all the work that Jesus got credit for, is buried in a tomb underneath. So you might, if you come to the show, you might need to go to confession afterwards.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me once again, in actual person, is King Hamster Pellet himself, Mike Schiavo. Say hi to the people.
Hi to the people.
Okay, so we had a good show last week. A great interview. You didn't have any idea what I was doing.
No. He was like, okay, we're gonna use this as a cut. I'm gonna put in an interview. I go, we're gonna do a what now? I honestly thought you had somebody waiting to come into the online meeting. And he's like, no, I put it in later. I'm like, you bastard.
Well, timing and everything needs to be taken into account, and you have your production schedule.
Yes.
Danielle has her schedule for her show,
Mhm.
so trying to make everything work so everything comes out where everyone gets proper advertising was a process.
No, that's cool that you got Danielle to come on the show. We gave her shout outs in our when we promote our show last week. We gave her plenty of shout outs.
Yeah.
And plenty of links.
Anybody who checks out the what is it, the Spotify page,
Mhm.
when you look down, because we have a poll that was going on, so apparently only one person voted. So I was asking how old people thought you were. 40s, 50s, 60s. I was thinking everybody was going to go for like 50s or 60s, but after listening to your recommendations,
Sick fuck out.
but yeah, no, but Danielle did get a good comment. Doug commented on there, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, well, he's not the only one. If people go back and look at some of the older episodes, because I do have questions being asked. Stop fidgeting, damn it!
Gotta make myself comfortable.
Do that before. Don't fidget during. You fidget digit.
And fidget digit with midget. Fidget digit with midget.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
no, like I was saying, on the Spotify page, when you actually look at the bottom, I have poll questions sometimes, but there is a question asking everyone like what they think of the show. We've gotten some comments on the content and stuff. It's not just from Doug. There's been like other people as well. So it's great to hear from the listeners. We really want feedback from everyone out there listening because we want to make the show as great as it can be.
Also, remember the challenge we put out.
Which one? We put out a few.
Could you give me a second? 2 episodes ago. If we reach 50 fans, I will grow the Magnum mustache.
Yep.
Jason Polubny, Danny's brother.
Okay.
He clicked on it and he goes, I can't wait to see the Chavo stash. Mikey Magnum. I can't wait to. Hey, and I will do it. If we get 50 followers, I will do my best to grow the Tom Selleck Magnum mustache. It won't be as good as Magnum's because, let's be serious, only Tom Selleck can rock a stash like that. But I will do my best to grow a Tom Selleck mustache.
So remember, everyone, make sure you like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for the Dragoon's Lair podcast. You can find that page very easily. You can email us at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's Dragoon's Lair podcast. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. It's all one word, Dragoon's Lair podcast @gmail.com. Make sure you like us on all the socials. You can find Mike's. You got mine. Mike will give out his later. I'll give out mine later, as we usually do. But yeah, we want to make sure we get the followers, because anyone I've talked to wants to see you with the Magnum stash, or as close to it as you can get.
I am a man of my word. If we get 50, I will do my best to grow the stash.
So now, by the time this is coming out, there's still like some time before Danielle's show.
Mm-hmm.
She went and she didn't get a chance to say it during the show, but if you buy the tickets online with the link that's at the bottom of the description for the video on the YouTube channel and in the Spotify and show notes, that one, if you buy the tickets, you actually can watch it streaming. I don't think your performance allows for that.
During the pandemic, we did stream a show. It was a bit of a pain in the testicles, but because just the way the theater is set up, it's not really conducive for streaming a show, and like the rights don't allow us to do stuff like that. But yeah, no, if you want to see me as a 10-year-old, you're gonna have to come out and see me live and in color.
Yeah, so I just want everyone to remember that if they buy tickets for Danielle's show and they can't make it, they do get a streaming ticket, so they'll be able to watch it streaming on that same night. So I wanted to just make sure I threw that in there for Danielle. Yeah, so I mean, the video is up on YouTube, which is a lot faster than we normally do.
Yeah.
We still have 3 shows that are coming
waiting,
out.
yeah.
Well, they're all scheduled. They're ready to come out. The shows usually drop on a Thursday on YouTube, which is what the schedule that I've been trying to go with. So the shows our audio episodes come out on Sundays.
Okay.
Thursdays, you get a video episode.
So if you want to see what we look like in the Dragoon's Lair, check us out on YouTube.
Exactly.
Check us out. I will post the videos to our Instagram and Facebook pages, so check us out, people.
Yeah, so make sure you check that out on the Blue Dragoon 13 is the YouTube channel. So make sure you check out the show, and make sure you remember, spread the word, because we're on pretty much every podcasting platform you can find us on. We're there. We're even on Google Podcast, which I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So it was good to find that out while I was going through some of the show stuff. Now, it's been a crazy time. The writer strike's still going on. Things are coming to an end, but we still have movies that are coming out to the theaters. So it's the beginning of June. So we want to go back to the well and do what we usually do, which is we're going to go over the movies that are coming out for the month of June 2023. So, this gives us an excuse to do this at least once a month. Yeah. So, but I got to say, we're starting off the month pretty strong with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The first animated movie was amazing, and if the second one is anywhere close to the first one, which all the hype seems to be, this is one to actually go to the theaters and watch.
Now, here's my question. 'Cause I saw the first Spider-Man cartoon film.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse. I thought it was an okay film. I wasn't blown away by it. I don't get what all the hype is about. I mean, great. You saw Spider-Man Noir. You saw Spider-Ham. You have Miles Morales. I thought it was a good film. I just didn't see what everybody went batshit crazy about.
Wow, like you really missed out. Like, you didn't like the art aesthetic of everything. the way that they interblended things, it had a different feel to it. It really felt like a comic book, like being animated for real. And I mean, the voice talents are amazing.
No, I'm not taking anything away from the voice talents. I was I mean, it didn't do much for me. I enjoyed it. I don't get what all the hype is about. I mean, it was a good film.
After getting live action Spider Man movies repeatedly, and they keep rebooting, this time it really wasn't a Peter Parker origin story, even though there were origin stories for every alternate one, which the new ones should be great. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This is one I think is you have to go to the theaters to see it.
I put a meh next to it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, meh.
I mean, the trailer alone, and knowing that it's going to be Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, and Miles Morales having some conflict issues, I'm like, that alone should be worth it.
We'll see.
All right. So now we have June 9th. We're going to be getting Strays, the Will Ferrell dog movie. Which, all right, we're doing a movie that it's not for kids because it's talking dogs. But what was the main premise of this one again?
I don't even remember hearing anything about this film.
From what I saw from the trailer, it really seems like it's like, oh, dog's pretty much abandoned, and he wants to go back to find his owner and bite his dick off.
Oh, it's Homeward Bound with a fuck you twist.
Yeah, it's an angry Homeward Bound.
Homeward Bound. I think I'll skip that one.
Yeah, that, and you know, it's Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx are a couple of the voices. The fact that it's Will Ferrell, like, I'm not a fan. It's like if he's secondary, like very minor character, I'm okay with. But when he is front and center, is something just makes me say no. I have that Family Guy moment of the episode with Stewie watching Bewitched in the theater, getting on getting on a plane, going to California, getting on a step stool, ringing Will Ferrell's doorbell, hitting him and saying, "That's not funny." Like, that's how I feel when it's Will Ferrell. There are a few guys that it's just like, I don't see the appeal. I mean, I understand why they're successful, but maybe it's just not my taste.
Yeah.
But it's not something I'm willing to spend my money on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of characters where they're over the top just for the sake of being over the top. Case in point, anything that pretty much Jim Carrey is in. Like, those characters are just, like, over the top for no reason. Not a big fan of them. Will Ferrell, when he plays a character, when he did Old School, I thought his character was great.
Didn't see it.
Funny film. When he did Jay and Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, he was so minor of a character
Right.
that I didn't mind.
Right, but he easily could have stole every scene that he was in. But I didn't hear anything about it. Now that I hear, is it going to be like a live action or like
it's
cartoon?
It's dogs running around, but they have them talking.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume that there's some. It's like they
Yeah,
have
like-
the
like
dogs
real
and kind of
dogs.
CG,
Yeah.
kind of what Disney did with the Lion King.
Oh, God.
Only, but I think it'll have more real dogs.
Yeah.
So, because everything I've seen from the trailers, it doesn't look like it's CGI processed. More CGI when it comes to like the dogs talking.
Right. Nah, I'll wait for the book.
Now, this one I'm pretty sure you are a little bit hyped about because we're also getting Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
I'm on the fence with it because Transformers Bumblebee, I liked.
This is supposed to be in the same kind of vein as Bumblebee.
I'm a little when I watched Bumblebee, I was a little wary because I was like, all right, knowing how Michael Bay took a great franchise, bent it over, and didn't even use any lube, and just destroyed it.
Listen, I think when
I'm on the fence. I'll probably see it, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
See, the thing is, Bumblebee, I always say it about Bumblebee. The first, 10 minutes, the stuff on Cybertron
Great.
was exactly what you wanted from a Transformers movie, especially to start the movie.
Yes.
And with them going and just following Bumblebee and having Haley Steinfeld, I'm like, she's amazing.
Yes.
And like, I think like that combination of what they did with that one and her worked really well. John Cena as like the military guy, and having it where the military doesn't understand, so they're kind of siding with the Decepticons at first.
I like the one scene in it when she's trying, she's trying to do like diving again, and he turned on the radio. You hear, "You got the touch."
Yeah,
That was great.
It had a lot of throwbacks,
Yes, it did.
and it was definitely a major course correction, and I feel like a proper reboot for the Transformers franchise, because I think they needed to go more towards how Bumblebee was and not towards like
Whatever Michael Bay did.
no, that last one, I think, where it was like Optimus Prime riding around on a dinosaur.
Yeah, and he had like Excalibur.
Yeah.
The last night, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was weird. But I will say, I was a fan of the way they did the series in the 90s for the Transformers Beast War series. I like what they did, and then when they just did this one on Netflix, where they hit the different generations of Transformers, and you get to see the Predacons and the Maximals, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like where they're going with this. Because, I mean, Beast Wars really felt like it was a more continuous narrative story. And I liked what they did. I liked the Gorilla Optimus Prime. It'll be interesting to see if they do have their
Primal.
well, he's supposed to be in it from what you see from the trailer, but it's going to be more if we're going to get a dinosaur of
Megatron.
Yeah, Megatron's dinosaur form.
I don't know. I'll probably see it. Am I getting my hopes up for it? No. But I do hear rumors that there will be, I believe in 24 or 25, there will be another cartoon Transformers movie.
Okay. Well, either way, I mean, I'm hyped about this one.
Again, I'm not hyped. I'm cautious because just given how Michael Bay fucked up the Turtles and he fucked up Transformers, I'm like, yeah. And he is the executive producer on this, so he gets to say
But that's the thing, he's executive producing. He's not directing
right.
it.
He's not directing, but as the executive producer, you get a big say. Like, hey, it's my money. I want this done.
Yeah, but at the same time, he does have a track record of knowing what is going to make money. And I'm surprised.
Seen the first few Transformers films,
and they made money.
They made money, but
listen, did I say they were great?
No.
But they made money,
Yes,
and that was the point that I go for.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to sit there and praise them.
No.
Because to me personally, it was like the first one. Really, it didn't have Starscream. Starscream, I think, came in the second one.
No, he was in the first.
He was in the first one.
He was in the first one.
Oh, right, yeah, they kill him.
No, did they?
Yep. They constantly killed every single one. It was worse than the feeling of the kids had in the 80s. Watching Optimus Prime die in the movie theater and then seeing them kill Starscream right after. It was like, you're just knocking out all of my favorites. And I get it. We got to push more toys. Yeah. Push new figures.
That's the reason why they did it, because, okay, this line's ending. We're bringing in a new line.
Yeah.
But
it's
the biggest problem I have with the Michael Bay Transformers, aside from Optimus Prime, everybody looks the same.
Well, everybody's a cookie cutter character. But the thing is, it's like, I felt like when they at least did Bumblebee, Haley Steinfeld felt like what you got from like Spike.
Yes.
Back in the 80s cartoon, where, it was the human sidekick, really hyped about having a robot, but not like the way that the first Transformers live action felt. Because that one, it was like, it felt more like a burden, where it wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to hide Bumblebee, but at the same time, it's like, how cool is this that it's like,
right.
You didn't have that same energy and excitement.
Yeah.
And Haley Steinfeld is somebody who definitely brought that excitement. So seeing what they do with this one, I'm really interested, and I am hyped for it.
Okay.
Because I love Transformers as a kid, and if it can give me even a little bit of that feeling again, I'm really looking forward to it.
Have you seen? It's up on YouTube. Scramble City.
No.
Check out Transformers Scramble City. It's basically it introduces Metroplex. It takes place literally like a week before the movie happens. You
Which movie?
the '86 movie.
Okay.
You see it introduces Metroplex. It introduces Trypticon, Ultra Magnus, Cup,
Cool.
bunch of those guys. And what it is, it's they're building Metroplex,
Okay.
and the Decepticons attack, and they have, I believe, they bring out Trypticon, and Ultra Magnus is like, well, now we have. I think he doesn't call them Metroplex. He calls them Scramble City.
Mm.
And he goes, bring out Scramble City, and you see him rolling out in battle platform mode, which I think is the only time you see Metroplex in battle platform mode. So he comes out, blasts the crap out of the Decepticons. Trypticon shows up, he transforms. They have a big drawn out battle. Trypticon gets thrown into the sea.
I'm sorry. What you're calling him? You're not calling him Metroplex. You're calling him Scramble City. You're
Well,
you're already. I'm like all I'm sitting there doing is laughing because all I hear is Scramble City when I see Metroplex, and I'm like, scrambled eggs.
Well, it's
Like-
keep in mind, it's from the Japanese cartoon, so it's Scramble City. But anyway, he throws.
That's
them-
why they renamed them when they brought them here.
Right. So he throws Trypticon into the ocean, but then something happens, and Metroplex, like, he gets injured from the battle, and he his eye blow out, or you see like a big explosion happen to Metroplex while he's in robot form, and he falls down, and he transforms back into city mode, and they do a shot, and he's a part of Autobot City, and you see Prime get on the shuttle, and Ultra Magnus like, where you going? Like, oh, he says, I'm going to Moonbase 2 to, stage a takeover of Cybertron or something along those lines, which you watch that, and then you watch the 86 movie, and it leads right into it. So check out Transformers Scramble City on YouTube.
It just sounds like a mess.
No, it's not.
It sounds like a
It
mess.
sounds like a mess, but it's not. Watch it, and you'll be like,
Alright.
oh, this
Well,
is
now
good.
let's get to June 16th.
Okay.
So June 16th, we've got The Blackening.
Never heard of it.
I have no clue about this movie. I'm almost thinking that it's a comedy
You never know.
just
these
from
days.
like the title, but I have no clue.
No clue.
So this one's going to be one that it's like I think it'll fly under the radar for a
Very
lot of
under the
people.
radar.
If it's any good at all, then we'll hear about more of it once it hits streaming.
Yeah, probably hear more. If
If
any
it's not
good,
already streaming.
if it's any good, you'll hear about it around the award time.
Yeah. Or we'll actually start seeing some trailers.
Yeah.
Now, we've got Disney's Elemental.
Okay.
That one seems like it's going to be really cute.
Yep.
And I'm interested in seeing it because it's like having the elements together.
Mhm.
But they all live separate and then they start intermingling.
Right. You have fire and water, and they end up working together. But
Yeah,
fire
they,
can
they have like a relationship.
right. They
It's
have
like,
a relationship. Fire can't get wet, and water can't get too close.
yeah, so it's definitely something that, I mean, when it comes to the Disney Pixar stuff like this, they have a tendency of being very good
Mhm.
at pulling on your emotional heartstrings.
Yes.
So I think this one's going to be one of those like kind of emotional tear jerkers
Right.
that no matter what's going on in the world, Disney's going to be playing with that one.
Yeah. I'll maybe take my nieces to go see it.
Yeah. So this is something I would say it's like kind of a cute, like kind of
Yeah.
bring the kids to see the movie. So I mean, I don't know if I'll see it in theaters. I may wait for
I'll
Disney.
probably wait.
Wait for Disney Plus.
Yeah. I mean, if my nieces want to go, I'll take them into theaters, but I'll probably wait.
Yeah. Now we have No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence. I've been seeing the commercials
I've
for
been seeing
this.
the commercials and seen the trailers for it. At first, I was like, "What?" And then watching it, I'm like, "You know what? I'll go give this a shot."
Yeah, this
It
one,
looks funny.
yeah, this is one of those. It's like you can tell this is Jennifer Lawrence being able to like actually
have
show
fun.
her sense of humor and have
Right.
fun. And I like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like the stuff that she's been in before, where it almost feels like it's a typecasting kind of a deal. This is like, oh, we're gonna get to see a different side of her, like what we see in like the interviews that they did with her and like Chris Pratt, like kind of like
Just
insulting
goofing
each
around.
other
Yeah.
and stuff.
It looks like, just from the trailers, it looks like a fun movie, and it looks like something she's probably said, you know what, I need to take a break from the heavy stuff that I've been doing. From
Yeah.
like, I don't want to, I'm not, she knows she's not going to get any awards for this film. It looks like, okay, you know what? It's a payday. It's a fun film. I want to have fun. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, the premise seems like I've got a feeling that this is going to be one of those movies where it's going to end up being like, let's say, Revenge of the Nerds or like Police Academy, where nowadays you couldn't make them because there's going to be a tonal shift throughout time, and some comedies just don't last. Like, everyone loved American Pie when it came out,
Yep.
but and it was a huge hit.
Yep.
It just, now people look at it and they start cringing over the fact that it's like four guys all wanting to get laid on prom night.
Yeah.
And it's like them doing whatever it takes. So, I mean, it was a premise for a movie, and listen, it was funny at the time.
It's
I
funny
still
now.
laugh at it. I don't go back and watch it, but that's just because it's not a movie that I'm like. Comedies, I feel like you have to take breaks from them.
Yes.
Because if you watch them too much, the
You don't
jokes are
laugh.
done.
Yeah, you know what's coming up, so you don't watch. I mean, I watched Super Troopers for the first time the other night
Yeah.
after like not seeing it for like 3 or 4 years, and some of the jokes I remember, I'm like, oh, ha ha ha. But then when we went to the gun range, and Mac is there with the bulletproof cup,
Yeah.
and he gets shot in the dick, and how you feeling, Mac? Good enough to fuck your mother. Forgot about that line totally. Laughed my ass off as if I heard it for the first time.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, this is going to be a Jennifer Lawrence comedy that I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be worth seeing.
Yes.
But I have a feeling, and this is just a long-term prediction, that it's going to be one of those situations where it's like, oh, yeah, the jokes aren't going to age well.
You never know, but
That's
take it-
just my prediction
Okay.
from years and years of movie watching, where you can tell like the generations change, the tone changes for what they find funny. So it's going to be one of those things where I don't think it's going to age well as the progression of time.
I don't.
But that's comedy in a nutshell, because
Yeah.
comedies are typically, they push
What's
the
funny
limits.
today isn't funny tomorrow.
Yeah,
But
you push the limits.
just seeing this film, it looks like a funny one and done film. Like
Yeah.
the Police Academy films, since they had such like a big ensemble cast, and the whole premise was these people are in the police academy, so you see them training, and then okay, what happens to them after they graduate? With a film like this, I don't see it.
It's not a
progressing.
franchise.
It's not definitely not a franchise. So I think something like this, one and done, you laugh over the summer with it.
Yeah.
Come September, okay, what else is going on?
Yeah. Now, June 23rd is the day where I'm just completely torn, because it's The Flash.
Okay.
And it's Ezra Miller's Flash. And while I don't like all the horrible things Ezra Miller has done, and he seems to be the only one that DC's willing to keep. They're not getting rid of Momoa, but it looks like Momoa may shift from Aquaman to another character, and if it's Lobo, even fucking better. But this Flash, it's like Ezra Miller's not the reason to see this movie.
No, absolutely. Ezra Miller is he's just a vessel.
Yeah,
You're watching it to see Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. And also, I heard a rumor.
Clooney.
No, not Clooney. That you will see, and I spoke about this to Mr. Smith last Friday. You will see Nick Cage in a Superman suit.
Yeah, they've said like you're gonna see like the Nicolas Cage kind of Superman for that one that Kevin Smith had tried to do the writing for that movie for.
Oh, he wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote it, but it was also not done, and the giant spider thing is just like,
Yeah, giant fucking spider.
yeah, it's like really,
Yeah.
but it thank that, but that's what it's supposed. They're saying like we'll see, like I guess going through the multiverse or whatever, like Nick Cage fighting
Giant
as
fucking
Superman,
spider.
fighting a giant spider, like so. But they're saying Clooney's the third Batman.
See, I
This
haven't
is
heard anything about
this is
Clooney
the last time we're getting Gal Gadot
as
as
Wonder
Wonder Woman. Outside of the Aquaman 2, last time we're going to see Momoa as Aquaman, other than for his movie, which was supposed to come out before this one.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, with a merger, and I'm really sick and tired of doing this, but I have to do it again. The merger between Warner Brothers and Discovery, that merger where you would have thought it's bringing in money, they have, oh, we don't have enough money to release the movies when we were supposed to, so we're pushing back. It would have been cool if Flash would have came out last year like it was supposed to, just like Aquaman 2. And hey, if they would have came out last year, we'd be more hyped up right now for Blue Beetle, which that's one that looks like
That
should
looks
be
fun.
hype.
That one looks fun. I want to see Blue Beetle.
Oh yeah.
I probably won't be there opening week because I just don't do shit opening week. But I will see that in the movies.
Yeah.
I'll drop some coin and.
Now the Ezra Miller thing is like the problem, but at the same time, and I was listening to someone's opinion that they were talking about, and I started to kind of change my mind a little bit on things, but I still just don't know how I feel about it because the movie's already made.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not it. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Ezra Miller has it, one of those contracts where it's in the theaters. He's going to make money off the back end, but that's the part that's like kind of keeping me on the fence. But what they said was the movie's done. You should be supporting everyone else that made the movie. You don't like now the other movies that are coming out. Like if the studios were gonna cast Ezra Miller, they're really not casting him. So he's gonna kind of have to hold off before he ever gets a role, and it's like he's gonna have to do a full redemption.
Yeah.
But until then, he's gonna be punished for what he's doing for roles outside of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more to support everyone else.
Right.
So for that respect, I can actually kind of like give a bit of a give on that one.
Yeah. I mean, with a movie of that scope, you have to see it at least one time in the theater. And I will go see The Flash in the theater. Again, not supporting Ezra Miller, not supporting anything that he did to those people. I want to see it because I want to see Michael Keaton back as Batman.
Yeah.
I want to see Ben Affleck back as Batman.
Affleck.
I want to see that. I want to see how they handle all this. Yeah, it's one of those films that you need to see in the theaters at least once. And people always say, oh, I'm not going to give Ezra Miller money. You know what? The man made his bank on this. You not going to a theater to see it, trust me, he's not going to feel it. He's not going to say, oh, so-and-so didn't go see my film. I can only get, 80 cars tonight instead of 85. He's not going to feel it. Don't deprive yourself of the experience of seeing it in IMAX, seeing it seeing it in a theater. Do it. You don't support them, fine, that's great. Just don't deprive yourself of seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah. So but with all the reviews, it is a very tough decision.
Yeah.
Because everyone's saying how great the screenings have been.
Now, this is my question. Is everybody saying, oh, this movie's great because of you finally get to see Michael Keaton suit up again? You finally get to see Ben Affleck? Or is it just that good? See, I'm leaning more towards the nostalgic factor of seeing Michael Keaton, of knowing this is going to be the last run for Gadot and Affleck. I'm leaning towards that. And just knowing how James Gunn is going to reboot everything. I'm leaning towards more of the nostalgia factor. Okay, these are the characters we know. I want to see them one more time before they're taken away from me.
Listen, the thing is though, no one's ever taking anything away as long as they're available to watch going back.
Well,
It's the ultimate
right,
multiverse principle made real. You can like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. You could be the fan of the Andrew Garfield ones. You do have both of them as Spider-Man.
right. But when I say go away, I mean you're not going to get any more. You're not going to get any more Andrew Garfield Spider-Man standalones. Probably not. You're not going to get any more Tobey Maguire standalones. Probably not. They're both getting up there. They both, you know, probably. Chances are you're not going to get it. You're going to get somebody new.
But
Okay.
it's still one of those things where you can always go back.
Right, but I'm saying, but you won't get anything new. That's when I say go away. You won't get anything new from them.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing. That's why I'm saying it's like it's the same way like Disney keeps redoing shit. But you never lose the original. So
Right.
if you don't want to see a remake of something, then just don't fucking see it. You
Right.
got the original, but it is what it is. But we'll get onto that in a little
And,
bit,
yeah.
but we gotta hit these last couple movies for the 30th of June.
Okay.
So end of the month, and we're gonna get Harold and the Purple Crayon. Now I've heard absolutely nothing about this, but I will say it has Zachary Levi and Zoe Deschanel, and Zachary Levi is a charming motherfucker.
I watched him in American Underdog where he played Kurt Warner.
Mm.
I'm like, dude, you can do no wrong.
Yeah, between that, his Shazam,
Shazam.
and Chuck,
Mhm.
which huge fan.
Wasn't he also in
Heroes Reborn.
mm, um 0 Dark 30?
I don't know, but I do know he was in Tangled.
Yeah.
So him, Flynn Rider over there. So it's like I think he can do no wrong just for being Flynn Rider alone.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So it's I don't know anything about it, but I feel like
No, it's a children's book, isn't it?
I think so, but I have no clue.
Yeah.
But this is going to be one I'm willing to check out
Yeah.
when it's available on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, I am a huge Indiana Jones fan. Love Indiana Jones. Grew up watching it. It was like between Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I could go back and forth, and then every now and then you would throw in like Back to the Future. But for the most part, it was
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. And out of my favorites, it's Temple of Doom.
Really?
Yep.
I gotta go to the original. I gotta go Raiders of the Lost Ark.
See, for me, it was also because I'm a Goonies fan. So you have Data now is Short Round. And then not only that, but I like Willie Scott.
I read that there were scenes, I'm not sure if they were shot, but they were written where it would have been a whole lot darker.
Mm.
Remember when Indy got possessed?
Yeah.
There was supposed to be another scene in it where he comes out of the tunnel in Willie's room and he's acting all normal.
And he tries to kill her.
I don't know if he tries to kill her, but he was the one who brought her back into the temple.
Yeah.
And like there was a scene in it where you see like smoke coming out of his mouth because that's just whatever they had him drink do.
Yeah.
And I was reading it and it's like maybe 10, 15 pages and I'm like, holy shit, this is very dark.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Well, no matter what, I loved it. I think also because I was a kid, there were a lot more kids in this movie, and it felt more fun. Like you almost wanted to go on a roller coaster that was the minecart ride.
Only thing I didn't like was the bugs.
Nah.
I didn't like the bugs.
I don't know. I don't think there were a lot of people that liked the
I
bugs.
didn't like the bugs.
But, a lot of people I know, they weren't for Kate Capshaw, but I thought she did a phenomenal job. Willie Scott is one of my all-time favorite of the indie women. Like, but I do have to say, I was turned off when we got to the fourth movie of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
And it really had nothing to do with Shia LaBeouf. It was the fact that it felt like it was that time frame of all we were seeing on the History Channel that had gone from the World War II Hitler channel to Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
our ancient alien overlords.
I was waiting to see that George Papadopoulos guy with the crazy hair.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's like that's all you were thinking of, and it's like it felt like the conspiracy theory channel at that point.
At the end of that film, when the hat blows off the rack and it lands at Shiloh's feet, I believe I saw it in the theater with my brother.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, we're like, don't do it. Don't do it. He picks up the hat, we're like, don't do it. We're like, don't you fucking do it. And then finally, when Harrison takes the hat out of his hands, the entire audience started applauding.
Yeah.
Because you heard everybody go, don't put it on, no. And then when Harrison takes it back, we all breathed a sigh of relief, like, thank Christ.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's like, is this something that I'm like dying to see? I want to see Harrison Ford back.
And he even said this is the last time this is the last run. This is it.
Okay,
there won't be anybody else playing the character.
Yeah.
I will see it in the theater.
Yeah, I will see it. I mean, it's going to be one of those movies. I'm like, am I going to see it in the theater?
Yes.
You will. I'm on it. For me, it's more a matter of, do I have the time?
I will see it in the theater only because only one I didn't see in the theater was Raiders, because I don't know, when did it come out? 81? 82?
I saw a re-release in the theater at the old Ziegfeld, where friends of mine and we all went down and we saw all three.
I saw Temple of Doom when it came out in the theater. I saw Last Crusade when it came out in the theater. I saw Crystal Skull when it came out in the theater. So I will keep it going. I will see Dial of Destiny when it comes out in the theater.
See, I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in theater. All others were seen at home.
No, I saw. Well, my father also, he was the one who got me hooked on it. He was like, "You want to watch something cool?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was a lot like, "Yeah." So he popped in VHS and he goes, Indiana Jones. He didn't even call it Indiana Jones. It's just Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Because that's what it was initially.
It was Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm like, okay. And watching it, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, and that's one thing like a lot of people forget. Like Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark was originally just called Raiders of the Lost Ark. The way that Star Wars A New Hope was only called Star Wars. Mm-hmm. It wasn't A New Hope.
Well, before it was Indiana Jones, do you know what it was called?
Raiders?
Nope.
What?
No, the character of Indiana Jones.
No.
Originally, when Lucas wrote it, it was Indiana Smith.
Okay.
And Spielberg was like, no. Indiana Smith? He goes, no. He goes, what are we going to call him then? And he goes, I don't know. Literally, like, I don't know, Jones, anything. He goes, Indiana Jones. He goes, okay, that works.
All right. So now that we've talked about the upcoming movies, you know, everyone at home can let us know what movies they're excited to see, because you can either leave a message on the Spotify page, because the Spotify page does have a section, and I do leave the question up because I want people to tell us what they think of the episodes. So you can leave a comment there.
And even if something coming out that we didn't hit on, let us know.
Yep. And you can also email us at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's Dragoonslair Podcast. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's all one word, dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. Now, you can also message us on the Facebook and the Instagram page for Dragoon's Lair Podcast. So they can check those out, and they can follow us on there. They can follow us on any of our personal socials. You can find me easily, Blue Dragoon 13, on TikTok, Instagram. You can find me on Twitch, and on Twitch you can find the link to the Discord page.
You can also find him on Pornhub.
Not doing that one again. No. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can find him watching Pornhub.
Okay. That one I can't. I'll argue a lot of them, but I'm not, that one like. Yeah, every now and then. But so it's that point where it's like, now we've got to talk, as you came up with the topic, and I think we're revisiting a topic we've done before. So why don't you lead us off on this one?
All right. It's remakes and reboots. Sometimes a reboot is needed. Perfect case in point. Star Trek. Okay, you had the original cast. They had the TV show. We all knew Kirk, Scotty, Spock, Sulu. We all knew them. Okay? They had their run in the film. then as they were doing their film, we had the Next Generation. So we had the Next Generation on TV while the original cast was still doing their films.
They were doing films, but the show itself was canceled.
Right, the show itself, the original run of Star Trek was canceled. They lived on in the film. While you were watching that, we also had a new Enterprise, the Enterprise D, with all Jean-Luc, Riker, Will Wheaton,
Will Wheaton,
Will Wheaton,
Will Wheaton.
Jordan, Data, Worf, all of them, and we followed them on TV, and then they became
You mean the cast of Disney's Gargoyles?
yes, and then they became they perfect way they passed the torch was in Generations.
Yeah,
Perfect little exclamation point, and then
it was a generational passing of the torch. I don't know if I really would consider those to be a reboot or a remake, because you got to realize that's a franchise continuation
Wait,
story.
Let me get to it. I'm making my
You
point.
take a long time to get to your point.
Anyway, so you followed the new cast. You followed the Next Generation cast. Okay? And then those movies ended. So now Voyager wasn't strong enough to have a film franchise. Deep Space Nine wasn't strong enough to have a film franchise.
Well,
Okay.
Deep Space Nine though, and I'm not a Star Trek fan, and it's bizarre that I can say stuff like this, but Deep Space Nine was centralized on a space station.
Right.
It was basically to compete with Babylon 5,
Right.
because they ripped off Babylon 5 for that one
Mhm.
pretty much, from what I've seen from like the history of these things.
Right.
But it wasn't that it wasn't strong enough to have a story like a movie. They weren't going anywhere. It was
Right.
like it all took place on the space station. Every now and then they hit the wormhole, but it was
The space station.
but it was a longer overarching story
Right.
where you had to watch every episode, because that one was not just an episodic.
Right.
That had an overarching theme.
Right. So now the Star Trek movies kind of ended. Okay, you had the last one with when Tom Hardy was the big bad guy. Insurrection, I think it was. And then
Khan.
no, in
Wasn't he Khan?
Tom Hardy?
I don't know anymore.
What's the name? Benedict Cumberbatch was Khan.
Listen,
And
you
then
got
you
to
had-
realize I'm like I said, not really a Star Trek
Right.
fan.
And then you had a lull. Okay? You had, the reruns, and then 2009 came around. And then people started talking, oh, we're getting a new Star Trek film, but we're doing Kirk. And everybody was like, oh, okay, let's see how they do this. Then they brought in Chris Pine. And then they brought in the entire, they brought in Scotty. They rebooted Star Trek. They did it in a way that
You drag these fucking points on and on,
yeah, because you keep interrupting me.
but you don't get to the fucking point.
Shut up, let me talk. They rebooted it in a way where, like, okay, they stayed true to the source material, but they gave you the backstory. Stuff you didn't see. The reboot of Star Trek worked. Every time you have a superhero movie coming out, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, we don't need to have an origin story. We don't need to reboot it. We knew what happened to Batman. We knew how Spider-Man got his powers, okay? We knew how the Fantastic Four got their powers. Give us a story where they're already established, and it will be phenomenal.
They did that. They've already technically done that with Batman v Superman. We didn't get an origin story for Batman. You get to see the parents die, but it was in such a small flashback. You didn't get like a full origin. And Tom Holland Spider-Man, when he came in Civil War, even going into Homecoming, there was no backstory really. If they mentioned something, they mentioned it, but it was never like, oh, okay, we're retelling the story. They realized that they didn't need to tell those character stories over again. I don't know how James Gunn's planning to do Superman Legacy.
I hope it's not an origin. We know it. Give us something.
I mean, right now,
Supposedly Brainiac's in it.
yeah, but listen,
us
the rumor is like for this Fantastic Four, they're going to already be established.
good.
So we don't need to. And even if you're going to make a mention of how they got their powers, it's usually okay if they're telling somebody. What was it? Tom Holland, like, I got bit by a radioactive. I got bit by like this spider. It like, okay, you got bit by a spider. It's like we now got the quick origin without going through everything.
And they can even do what they did in Superman 2, when during the opening credits they had the origin. They did basically recapped the entire first movie in the opening credits of the second one.
And that's what they did with Affleck for Batman v Superman. It was so short of Thomas and Martha Wayne walking, getting killed, and then you're seeing the funeral. So it wasn't like they did this overarching thing, and it was during the opening credits. Now, granted, it's Maggie and Negan are his parents, but most people didn't realize that one.
I didn't realize they looked familiar to me, but I was like, "Is that who I think?"
Yep.
And by the time you were able to put the name to the face, the movie moved on.
Now, I feel like there are shows that they get a continuation, which is kind of rebooting the franchise. That's actually can be done relatively well if it's done correctly. Like, one thing is, it's like, I will say, like, iCarly was the Nickelodeon show. It was a fun show. I've gone back, I've seen episodes and stuff. I wasn't in the age demographic for it at the time, and I'm like, okay, I'm older than this, but I went back, I watched it, and it was fun. It had a great tone to it. The characters were very likable, and now they've brought the show back on I believe it's Paramount Plus has it, and they're on their third season, and it has some of those charming elements to it and the fun, but at the same time it feels more adult. It feels like I'm still not in the right age range for it, but I can still enjoy it.
Right.
But it is one of those things where it's like they're doing it well. It feels like it's missing a little something, and I think that's more because like Jeanette McCurdy didn't come back, but Miranda Cosgrove has gone into it, and it felt fine for what it was and what it's being. And she's doing a great job. So I like what all the actors who've come back have done. So it's one of those things where it's not like I'm going to sit there and say it's unnecessary, but it was a good like restart for a franchise, especially that it kind of has a bit of a negative connotation, especially nowadays. So because it's got that negative connotation, and it's like, okay, we've kind of removed that aspect because, I grew up watching Dan Schneider on Head of the Class. And now hearing about all these things and these issues from his own production company and him, I'm like, you know what? I don't know anything about this, but if even half of what they're saying is true, you know what? It's understandable why they are like Nickelodeon was washing their hands of him. Even though he was part of the majority of some of their biggest shows from his production studio. I mean, let's face it. Getting a reboot is kind of tricky. And I'll go to Disney for this one. Okay. And I'm not even going to talk about their remakes. I'm talking like they kind of remade a movie that most people didn't even realize. They remade Adventures in Babysitting.
Did they?
Yep. They took Adventures in Babysitting and remade it an updated version. It was more like almost direct to Disney Channel. I don't think it went to the theaters, but it was a cute movie.
What was it called?
It's called Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh. It
has Sabrina Carpenter and Sophia Carlson, who are some Disney actors and stuff. One was Sabrina Carpenter was in the Girl Meets World show, and Sophia Carlson, I believe, she's from the Descendants movies.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, they've got actors from other stuff that they're doing, which I love that they do use their talent over and like keep them fresh and relevant. And it really is one of those things where it was like, ugh, you didn't need to remake this one. while I get it, you're making it for a newer audience, and I'm not the target audience for it. The actresses did a good job with it, and you could tell it looks like it's a fun movie, but it's just not the original.
Right.
And if you've grown up with the original, it's going to make it a little harder to like wrap your head around it. And that's the thing. Like, I loved Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, who doesn't?
Elizabeth Shue was amazing. I don't remember the name of the actress, the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was great. And then finding out that it was Vincent D'Onofrio is the guy who was like the mechanic to change the tires. It was like, oh, so it's like she's worshiping him. Like, he looks like he could be Thor.
Yeah. Now, here's a question: how long do you, how long do you wait before you reboot a franchise?
To reboot a franchise?
Mm-hmm. How long would you wait? Whether it be a superhero franchise, a movie that has at least 2 sequels to, like a Godzilla franchise, King Kong Godzilla franchise. How long do you wait after the last film is released before you say, okay, guys, we're gonna redo it? How long do you wait?
20 to 30 years.
See, I would agree with you, but the morons running Hollywood will maybe wait 20 to 30 months.
That is the problem when you look at a studio system, which is one of the reasons why we support the writers.
Yes.
The writers are also being asked to churn out shit. And I say shit because it's like, if you're doing such a high turnover rate on properties, we're getting the same things over again. It's like, we could get a break and like kind of space things out, but we're not. It's all like new. There's no time to even catch up with stuff because there's something new.
See, this is where I think Marvel should have said, hold up. After Infinity Endgame, they should have took a break. They should have, because from when did Iron Man come out?
It was already like 20 years. Yeah. That's the thing.
20 years. And you have Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the Avengers, and everything that comes after that. They saturated the market. If they really wanted people to get hyped up again and to have like levels they did when it first came out, they should have said, okay, you know what? Let's just hold it for a while.
Well, listen,
give everybody a chance to catch their breath, and then
here's the
hit
thing,
them
though.
again.
I was listening to some people talking about this, something very similar, and the thing is that it more falls into the framework of, I don't think it's Marvel needed to step back. I think they have a problem because they just keep building and building another threat. They're always looking to the future, and this is the point that the person was making. If I remember who it is, I would gladly give them credit for it. But they keep building, and they go for the future. And they're looking towards the future, and they're not worried about what's going on in the present. And that's where the problem really falls in. Because when you have people going, and it's like, okay, you keep coming for the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. No one's getting a chance to catch their breath, right. But it's not about taking time like to restart. They're just on another phase of their franchise.
Right, and I'm not saying restart. I'm just saying give us a break.
Yeah, but
let us catch our breath.
But the problem is, it really is, and this is, I think, more of a societal problem where it's everyone wants more and more and more, and they
want it now.
They want new content, and the thing is, what people don't realize is, because I will blame Netflix for this a little bit because it's a binge problem.
Oh, without a doubt.
Now, granted, I love binging things. I like when everything's available. So if I want to watch the next episode, I can. But at the same time, I have to, and I also hate saying it, like Max and Disney Plus, Hulu, where things are coming out week to week. If they give you 2 episodes at the start of a season, okay. And then it's like you get another week. And then you got to wait a week. And you got to wait a week.
I'm fine with that. Because I hate binge watching.
See, that's where you and I differ, because I like to binge watch, because especially if if something's really caught my attention, I want to keep going. I don't want to just stop. And that's more of an impatience thing. But we both grew up as kids where it was like,
You had no choice. You had to wait.
yeah, and that was the culture. It like kids nowadays don't really have to wait a week for things. And you know what? I've listened to people out in the world when, they're talking about like watching something or a streaming service. You know how many times I hear people say it's like, well, I'm going to wait until it's done. Like for a show on Disney Plus or something on Max.
Yeah. and then
I'll
you
wait
just-
till the season's done. I'll pay for the app for the month, binge it, and then I'll cancel it so I don't have to. And I respect it. I think you're spending more money by having to constantly keep signing up for an app, canceling and starting, canceling and starting. It's like, just you already got it, you got it. But waiting a week seems to be
Too much.
at least with streaming, I will say it's wait a week, not like watching things on television. Like that's how we just watched, and we can say like the CW's Arrowverse. The Arrowverse was week to week, but you would get interrupted because there's the Olympics.
Mhm.
Oh, there's the State of the Union. Oh, there's a war breaking out. Oh, there's some crisis. Something is happening. We lose a week of an episode or maybe 2 weeks.
The thing I excuse me. The thing I like about having to wait a week or 2 weeks or even a month if it's a season finale, it gives you time to fill in the blank. Okay, we left you on this cliffhanger. You play it out in your head. Oh, well, this could happen. And then, we saw this person's hand. It could be this character finally being introduced. Or we saw this. And it gives you a chance to fill in the blank. So when the show does resume next season, next week, whenever, you're like, okay, let's see if I'm right.
Yep.
It gives you something. If you're fans of the show and you have like when they did the Game of Thrones, everybody was talking about it. What happens after this one? What happens after this? It gives you something to talk about. And you make your predictions. And then you go back, you sit down and watch it next week. Oh, shit, I didn't see that one coming. Oh, fuck, I was right.
Yeah. Game of Thrones was only more a matter of that happened after like season 5.
Yeah.
Because, hey, we got books up to 5. It's like, where's 6 and 7? Which,
Still haven't come out yet.
yeah, and you figure they started these, like in the 80s, the 70s, 80s, Game of Thrones books
80s,
started.
I believe.
Yeah, now the thing is, and this is where I have a slight problem with something like that. It's like, we're getting spin-off shows and the writer is working on those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about the book?
Yeah, finished the book.
I want the books finished because there's still characters that I liked from the books and I've already read the first 5. So I want to see where those characters that didn't make it into the show, where'd they go? How did things change because of them being there? But that's my own personal gripe on stuff like that. But I mean, I think the perfect amount of time to reboot something is a 20 to 30 year gap.
Okay.
I mean, if you take a look, and an easy prime example is rebooting up the franchise of the Karate Kid. And I'm not even going to talk about the Kung Fu Kid with Jaden Smith, because that's the Kung Fu Kid. Do not call it the Karate Kid. He's not even learning karate. And again, neither did Daniel, but let's just put a pin on that note. But it really is more a matter of when you look at it. It's been how many years since the Karate Kid movies? Then we get Cobra Kai. And Cobra Kai has been amazing. And we're all looking forward to season 6 dropping.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be one that it's going to be bingeable.
But
and I'm going to binge that one. I don't want to wait.
Do you consider Cobra Kai a reboot or a continuation? See, I would say it's a continuation.
I think it's both.
I think more continuation than reboot because you still have original characters playing their original roles.
Yes, but I still consider it both because they are retelling the story from a different perspective. When you go back and you watch season 1 of Cobra Kai, Miguel is Daniel.
Right.
It's what would have happened if you think about it. It's okay, Daniel actually learns from Cobra Kai, and it's like he gets taken under by Kreese. where Johnny his son is the bully, and Daniel's the one that took him in and is like
it's a role
teaching him.
reversal.
So they're role reversing. That's why I consider it a reboot, because they're rebooting it with the kids, but they're continuing on with the story with the adults. So it's both. I can't like say that it's not a continuation, but it's also a reboot, because the franchise was dead. You can pretty much say who was talking about the next Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
No one even thought about saying, hey, maybe they'll bring Hilary Swank back, until they kept going. And they were tapping into people from each part of the story from the movies to bring them back in. And that's where it really shines.
Did Elizabeth Shue make an appearance?
Yes, she did. What, you didn't watch the show?
I couldn't remember if she showed up or not.
Oh, she showed up, and I was so happy because she comes back. You still get to see a little bit of the tension from way back when, but you also see like how things have changed. And I love Elizabeth Shue to this day.
Yeah, she can do no wrong.
Like, I will always see her no matter what. The Adventures in Babysitting was that movie for me that I was like, yep. Now, before we wrap things up and we start doing our usual self promo and everything, I do want to ask that anyone who is out there, if they have some ideas for content that they want us to cover, because right now we are going through a drought, same as you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I can come up with tons of things for us to talk about and discuss, but we want to know what interests you.
Yep. Please
let
us know.
Let us know. Leave us a review or a comment on iTunes. You can leave us a comment on the Spotify page. You can I don't know if you can do it on iHeartRadio, but we're on there as well. So like us, follow us, get us to 50 followers, and Mike gets the stash.
I'll grow it. I'll do my best to grow the Tom Selleck Magnum mustache.
And
I'm putting it out there.
And we will make sure that he posts daily photos on the Dragoon's Lair podcast, Facebook and Instagram page of him growing this mustache.
I will do my best to grow it.
Yeah. Now, we really want you guys to have an input in the show and be part of the community and like help us grow everything. So we are going to be making some format changes. We are rounding the corner, and I want to let everyone know that our first season of the Dragoon's Lair podcast will be coming to a wrap by the end of July.
Mm-hmm.
And we will then take maybe like 2 weeks off, and we will come back and we will be starting season 2. This is just a little like letting everyone know what's going on down the line. And we will be doing some format changes. So things are going to get a little tighter around here when it comes to conversation. I'm going to stop Mike from dragging on his points.
And stop interrupting me.
No, we're going to put a vice around your nuts. And every single time you go off on a tangent, we're going to start tightening. We, because Doug actually sent me this wonderful picture of you, which I'm going to have to post, where are you a real boy?
Oh, he sent you that?
Yeah, I've got to say, you do look like a marionette that they just cut the strings.
Oh,
it's like a vampire in its coffin, just on the couch. I'm going to have to post this online for people to see this. And I want people to comment, because I am going to post this on the Facebook and the Facebook page at the very least. And try to go on the Instagram page. You've got more control over that one than I do. But I want this picture posted, because
tell them what it
is. This is a picture of Mike like laying down on his couch, and it's like he's like flopped out on the couch. And you would think it's like somebody just cut Pinocchio strings. And so I want to know, does Mike look like a real boy?
Yes, I am a real fucking boy.
Not how far away you sound on when you say that, but no, I got no strings to hold me down.
What can I say? I fell the couch. My couch isn't the biggest in the world. My arms are at my side, and Doug put on the Flashpoint movie, the DC Flashpoint movie.
Yeah.
He passed out, and he started snoring. And of course, if I hear somebody snore, I'm gonna pass out too. So this fucknut, I didn't even know it until like the next day. He goes, click,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you asshole.
Yep, and I got that photo, so yeah. Uh, so anyone who sees this photo, because I'm going to be posting this over the weekend, and yeah, please let us know. Comment if you believe that Mike is a real boy or not. He truly looked like a marionette, like just I would say like a vampire marionette, just like laying there. Because it almost you had the Count Dracula, like your hands kind of flop over.
No, my hands were at my side.
You looked like a vampire in its coffin.
My hands are at my side.
All right, well.
Shameless plug time.
Yep. Now it's time for our shameless plugs, and we're gonna start with Mike because we're gonna promote Mike's performance and stuff. So
okay, first up on January 3 through the 11th. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the following Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will be performing in a performance of The Divine Sister at the Little Victory Theater. You can get tickets at showtix4u, that's the number 4, showtix4u.com. In the search bar, you type in Little Victory Theater, and it'll come up. Tickets are going fast. We do have tickets available for opening night, but the rest of the tickets are going fast, so if you want to see me, do that. On the 17th, I will be making my GM in-ring debut for New Evolution Wrestling. It's the best of the best. Saturday, June 17th. Tickets $25 for general admission, $30 for the first row. Bell time is at 6:30. This is an all-age welcome show. It will be at the RPD Court Time Sports Complex, 201 Westfield Avenue, West Rochelle Park, New Jersey. Come check us out then. The card is going to be amazing. The talent we have is top-notch. If you're a wrestling fan, come on out and check us out. New Evolution Wrestling, that's on I almost said July or January. June, the other J month, that would be June 17th.
There are 3 of them.
Yes, the other one. I said June. I said July. I said January. I said June.
I lost track. I was too busy with the laugh track.
And then on the 21st, if you want to get your tickets, you can find the fourth wall at the 2nd Annual Staten Island International Summer of Shorts Film Festival. Saturday, July, I did it again. Saturday, June, and I'm reading it too. Saturday, June 24th, doors open at 5. It's the Oscar Teal Sunday School Building, Reformed Protestant Church, 54 Port Richmond Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10302. Do a search for Staten Island Summer of Shorts. You could find tickets there.
Or if you just send me all the information, it will be in our show notes.
That too.
Yeah. So now your socials.
Oh, yes. Sorry. You can find me on Instagram at Hamsterpella Productions. I also do the Blue Dragoons podcast on Instagram, so I run that too.
And Facebook for the most part.
I'm getting to Facebook.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook under my name, and you can also find me on the Hamsterpella Productions and the Dragoons Lair podcast on Facebook and Instagram.
Any other way they can get in touch with you?
Smoke signals, carrier pigeons, snail mail. If you want to Venmo me some money, I can give you my Venmo. I can give you my PayPal if you want. I don't have Apple Pay, sorry. If you want to send something Pony Express, I'm sure they're still running in some parts of the country. Knock yourself out.
Yeah. And you can find me on all my socials. The majority of them are Blue Dragoon 13. That would be TikTok, Instagram, Twitch. We have the Discord page, which is on. We got a nice little link for it on the Twitch page. We're going to try to do a live show at some point where we're going to stream once Production Boy is done with all of the stage performances.
Oh, I also have a movie coming up next week too.
Oh.
I'm shooting a movie. Actually, this Saturday I'm shooting a movie.
See, look, he tells me nothing, and I don't know what his schedule is. So,
But I'm doing it on Saturday, so
Yes,
it has
but-
nothing to do with you.
usually does, because you usually end up calling to ask me for help.
Yeah, but I know it's going to be on a Saturday. You're going to be asleep.
So, yes, I will be hibernating, of course, in between editing the episodes to make sure they come out. So, yes, you can also find me on Blue Dragoon 13, the YouTube channel, where you can get video episodes of the Dragoon's Lair podcast. We have an entire playlist of all the video episodes, and we're pretty much scheduled up until virtually the end
Yeah.
of June for upcoming episodes coming out on the YouTube channel. You can make sure you can like, follow us, subscribe to the Facebook, on the YouTube page, on Instagram, and make sure you like us, follow us, leave us comments on Spotify, leave us a review on iTunes, and you can listen to us on almost any platform of your podcast preference. We're pretty much almost everywhere, according to, well, what I was looking for to find out where we're at, because I was checking our analytics, because we get comments and stuff. Doug, like I said, Doug left a wonderful comment for the interview with Danielle.
Yes,
I want to thank her again for coming on the show last time. It was a pleasure having her on.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, so we want to do more interviews. We want to have more interesting things going on and some really cool topics. And we're going to start figuring out a good format for our season 2. Season 2, let's see if we can try for a live stream for our first show back for season 2, but we still have plenty to go for season 1.
Yeah, so we're not running out of steam just yet. We
Yeah,
got plenty of stuff.
And the only reason we're taking a little break is
Notice the only reason why we're dumb.
Yeah, we're taking a little break.
Because I can't stand this fuck nothing.
Yeah, I need a break from Mike. Yeah. Getting lost in time with him was a little too much to take, so I definitely need a break.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, come on, let's face it, even your dog wants a break from you.
Anyway, wants a break from me. But I don't know why. I'm a fucking delight.
The light to get away from.
Ba-dum-tsh.
And on that note, I am Daniel the Dragon, the Blue Dragoon himself, and this has been
me, Mike Schiavo, King Hamster Pellet.
all here for your listening entertainment, because remember,
We do this for you.
and
We love you.
remember, the Dragoon's Lair podcast is everyone's favorite podcast.
Dragoon's Lair Podcast, opening 24/7 for your dinner and dining desires.
We have no current location, but if you'd like to spot us, please let us know. Yeah, so thank you all for tuning in for another episode. If you are in the New York, New Jersey area, please try to make your way out for one of Mike's performances. Try to make your way out for Danielle's performance on June 7th. You can find all the information. The video is up for that interview for the entire episode 28 of the Dragoon's Lair podcast on YouTube, Blue Dragoon 13 page. So please check that out and show some support. Show Mike some support for his performance. Show Danielle a lot of appreciation.
Yes.
And reach out for her. She does make jewelry, so make sure you guys reach out if you want to see some of the stuff that she's done on her Instagram. I want to thank her once again for coming on the show. And remember, folks, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Bye-bye.
Later. Yeah, man. Stop recording.